morning, everybody. We are pleased to introduce you to DriveWealth, where we invite the world to invest. What is DriveWealth? DriveWealth is a global retail investing platform inviting everyone, everywhere, low-cost access to the U.S. public equity markets. Why is that important? Because the majority of the growth in retail wealth is coming from outside the United States, principally India, China, Latin America, markets that have been largely shut out of the largest equity class in the world, the U.S. equities market. How does DriveWealth do this? First, we had to secure a license in order to directly onboard customers and their funds from anywhere. And that was a license historically only relegated to the large global brokers. And then we had to have a full stack platform which allowed all of our retail customers, regardless of where they were, the ability to open, fund, and invest an account all through their mobile device. Our B2C strategy is off this very simple investing interface. In a couple months, we have customers in over 140 countries. But our big game changer is our brokerage as a service. Our brokerage as a service allows companies who have customers, whether they're banks, brokerages, data providers, customer-centric companies, the ability to provide their customers access to the U.S. equity markets very easily and efficiently. So when you look at the global retail market, right, economists predict that there will be over 1 billion new members of the middle class coming from Asia alone over the next decade. And while in developed markets, anywhere between 1/4 and 1/2 of households have equity in their portfolio, in the developing markets, it's 2 to 3%. And so you see as this shift of disposable assets becomes more coming from the developing markets from the developed, this money needs to be able to access the U.S. equity markets cheaply. Take India, for example, as one of our key markets. India has a very active local investing environment, but the entire market cap of the total Indian, all the exchanges, is less than $2 trillion. It's just not big enough to support the increase in disposable wealth coming out of India. The U.S. market's north of $30 trillion. The brands have figured this out. They're way ahead of the financial markets in this. You look at any of the top global brands, and more than half of their growth, half of their revenue, and 80% of their growth are coming from the emerging markets. You just go in these countries, and you can see the voracious appetite for the global brands. The #1 consumer brand in India, Colgate. Then you have Apple, and you have Nike, and you have McDonald's, and you have Coca-Cola. It just doesn't make sense that these folks don't have access to invest in the companies they love. So how are we doing? So like I said, we launched our direct-to-consumer product late last fall. We spent about a couple $100 a day before we got institutional investing. We have approaching 50,000 accounts, 90% of them from outside the United States, across 140 countries, very, very broad distribution. But as I mentioned, our brokerage as a service is how we're really going to scale. We provide these widgets, APIs, that our partners can easily integrate into their front interfaces to be able to quickly and effectively offer this asset class to their customers. Whether it's a funding, whether it's the onboarding, the KYC, AML, reporting, or the ability to provide U.S. stocks to their customers. This is a little hard to see, but how are we doing on that? We are approaching 1 billion customers that are either, our partners have an aggregate of almost 1 billion customers that are either integrating with us right now or in the pipeline to integrate with us right now. I'll give you an example of one. There is a Chinese public company that we are launching over the next 2 weeks. They have 180 million financial services customers. And they already have a trading interface, so they're using our onboarding, our funding, our reporting, and most importantly, our ability to trade U.S. security widgets. And we will be the pipeline for that 180 million customers to access the U.S. equities markets. So part of being able to reach the market is the license to be able to do so. Part is the full stack platform. And next is how do you have customers fund their accounts, right? Last 30 years, it's always been ACH, wire transfer, checks throughout the United States. That works great here in the U.S., does not work great outside the United States. So luckily, there's been hundreds of millions of dollars being put into global funds transfer. Not ours, but other venture capital firms funding terrific companies. So we offer we offer the widest range of funding alternatives of the entire financial service community. We offer Dwala, we offer TransferWise, we also offer Bitcoin. We don't take Bitcoin risk, but that concept of low-cost funds transfer between Israel and the U.S., Brazil and the U.S., that is how this business is going to scale. So in summary, we very much appreciate being considered for a top 50 startup. You know, we're different, we're global, we're DriveWealth. Thank you very much.